What's up, guys? Before the video starts, I want to shout out 3 people who commented on the last video.
Going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm.
If you want to be shouted out in the next video, in the comments down below, I want you to comment the baddest champion you've ever seen, boy, because I'm interviewing the former Ring of Honor World Television Champion, Shane Taylor. It's a good one. I hope you guys watch it all. Tell me your favorite part about it, because there's a lot of really good information about why you should be watching Ring of Honor and why you should be watching Shane Taylor promotions. So, squeed. What's up, YouTube? Right now, I'm here with a special guest. He's a former Ring of Honor World Television Champion and just had a really big win if you're watching Ring of Honor recently. I'm talking about the baddest champion you've ever seen, Shane Taylor.
Hey, hell of an intro, my guy. That's what I'm talking about. I need people to bring that kind of energy. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you. How are you?
Man, I am blessed, man. I'm just sitting here. The weather's nice. Daughter's sleeping. You know what I mean? One of them. The other one's in school, so the house is quiet. You know what I mean? Very rare when you have kids, you get a quiet house. You know what I mean? So I'm just sitting here, sort of soaking it in. Just chilling, basking in my victory over EC3 and the Briscoes with me, Kaun and Moses. So life is good.
That's good. It's good to hear. Well, since you just said it, you and Kaun and Moses actually teamed up to take on the Briscoe brothers and EC3. So how did it feel to get into the ring with a name that, just coming with a big buzz to Ring of Honor, as well as how does it feel for Shane Taylor Promotions to get a giant win, and what's the future looking like for you guys?
Man, the future is bright, baby. You see, the thing is, we were the baddest cats in the game going into lockdown. So to come out of it and pick up a win, it's just like, we never lost a step, right? So we're back exactly where we need to be. Now, anytime you're in there with performers and athletes the caliber of the Briscoes, that's an upper, right? You want to bring your A game anytime you're in the ring with them, right? Not only out of respect, because if you don't, they'll just beat your ass, right? So you have to bring that energy. But to have the added motivation of Ring of Honor bringing in EC3. And again, sort of overlooking the fact that I am here day in and day out, busting my ass to be the guy here. For them to constantly be bringing in other people, I said, all right. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to take this opportunity to sort of spoil this and rain on your parade because, like I told him, I don't care where you've been. I don't care what you've done. You could have every accomplishment in the world, every accomplishment known to man. When you step in the Ring of Honor, you are walking into my house, and you had better wipe your feet before you walk in my house and pay me my respect.
Oh, wow. Okay. I respect that. And you guys got a great win over them, too. Very, very dominant, actually. But going into Ring of Honor itself, since they're not running shows with fans currently and they're kind of in the Ring of Honor bubble, how does it feel to actually be in an arena with no fans whatsoever? And what was your first reaction when Ring of Honor announced that they were going to run shows without fans?
Obviously, the very first thought is, okay, makes sense. You want everybody to be safe, right? But we do have a job to do, and the show must go on in some capacity, right? So that was the first thought. And then the thought was, how do you train for that, right? Because everything you do as a professional wrestler is based off what you hear, right? It's judging that, right? And there's a lot of times, especially when you're dealing with sports, especially combat sports, that crowd can be the energy that you need to get through it, right? So it was very challenging to think about all of the potential variables in that equation. But once you're out there, it was weird at first, right? Because I'm a person who thrives off of energy, right? Negative or positive, I thrive off that energy, right? And so to not have that, you start to look for it in different places. Most of it you have to come up with yourself, but then feeding off the energy from your opponents, that's the difference. So it was weird at first, but once you get in there and you start throwing hands, it all comes back to you.
So since you're teamed up with Kaun and Moses now, when they first came in the Ring of Honor, were you the one that scouted them to actually join Shane Taylor Promotions, or did you already see them, like, since they were signed, you're like, I kind of want those guys on my side?
A little bit of both. I'd seen them at Maryland Championship Wrestling. They were in the ROH dojo, as well as O'Shea Edwards, who we just got. and seeing the talent there and seeing them kind of grow frustrated and wanting their chance and wanting to be on that stage, I know what that feels like, right? Because that was me. I wanted just so bad to be able to prove myself and prove that I belonged and make my presence known. So when you have like-minded individuals all on the same page and that chemistry is there, that synergy is there, you're going to be able to do great things. So once I was able to talk to Ron and we got that worked out, I just knew the moment that we all stepped foot onto the stage together that we were going to change the game.
Was there like something when you went to like MCW Pro Wrestling? Because I actually trained there, and Kaun and Moses, they always come in and they're very, you can tell they really care about the craft that they do. Is there something that you see when you go to Ring of Honor Dojo? You see like the younger guys working out that kind of makes you want to maybe help them, give them a chance on a Ring of Honor stage?
Of course, and you do everything in your power, or at least you should, right,
Yeah.
to be able to do that. I am one of those who subscribe to the idea that nobody is able to succeed and walk through those doors unless you open them a bit, right?
Right.
And for so many, and it's been the thought process in this sport that you hang on to what's yours at all costs, right? You, even if that means you dampen the opportunity for somebody else, as long as you're holding on to yours and getting yours, then that's what it is. And that's just not how things are going to progress, right? It's not going to work in wrestling. It's not going to work in the community. It's not going to work anywhere, right? In order to be successful, you have to be the one that opens the door, and then realize at the same time you may be the one who opens it, but you may not be the one that gets to walk through it, right? That may be the people after you, right? So to be able to do that and see them down there and help them, that's meant the world to me. And I am just so proud of the things that they're doing, the way they're growing, and the way they're excelling. It's going to be great. They're special.
So looking at your entire career, you've been the world television champion. You've done a lot of things in Ring of Honor so far. What's been the proudest moment of your career so far? And if you could face anyone in the world of wrestling, I'm sure you've probably been asked this before, who would that be?
There are two really cool moments that I kind of hold parallel to each other. One was of course achieving and winning the Ring of Honor World Television Championship, especially being only the third African American male to be able to do that. But also when I went to the UK a couple of years ago, at that time I was VIP champion, SOAR champion, and Texoma Pro champion, 3 championships from 3 different companies in the Texas area. And I was able to go overseas to the UK representing all 3 of those companies as the top guy and defend those championships there, make them world championships and bring them back and sort of help elevate the stock of all 3 companies that I was in, as well as myself. So to be able to do that as well, that meant the world to me, because that's not something that guys like myself get to do a lot, right? And so to be able to do that and be successful and then parlay that into, making more history with Ring of Honor, that was just, really good time. Your second question then, anybody in the world. Now, are we talking about people that I have wrestled before or people I haven't wrestled, or does it not matter?
People that you haven't wrestled.
People that I haven't wrestled. Oh, okay. I think number 1 on that list would probably have to be Tomohiro Ishii.
Okay.
From New Japan. That never division has always been sort of the workhorse, hard-hitting, utility player role. That's been that spot. And he's always had tremendous matches. I've seen his matches in the UK when he was the British heavyweight champ, and they were great. And I think that's always been a guy that I've thought that if you get us in the same ring and allow us to do what we do, then we can create some magic.
During that Ring of Honor like World Television Championship reign, like what was your favorite match that you defended the title in?
There were a couple, but I think the one that stands out the most for me was against Joe Hendry in York Hall. Because you've got Joe Hendry, who's from Scotland, I do believe, but he's still a UK guy. We're on UK soil. I'm going into enemy territory by myself. You know what I mean? There is nobody in that building that wants me to win that match except for me. You know what I mean? And so to be standing there in front of those UK fans with their hero, they're cheering for him, they're cussing me, and it is an environment that I thrive in, right? Because I am at home when it comes to being in hostile environments, right? Like my mind is more clear in those moments than sitting right here on my couch, right? In those moments, my mind is so clear, and I have such a pinpoint, focus, that I love it, right? So to be able to be in that match on that stage, have the performance that we did, send everybody home disappointed but happy. You know what I mean? Was tremendous.
That's great. So going into like getting signed to Ring of Honor, how did you first get noticed by the company, and what was your reaction when obviously they made their offer to bring you in?
The way I got noticed was I was riding with Ray Rowe at the time, who was Eric of Viking Raiders fame now. And knowing him from Cleveland, he's my trainer, big brother, best friend, godfather of my kids. Like, he has been instrumental for me, in damn near everything that I've done in pro wrestling. You could argue that I wouldn't even be here without the guy, right? So he was going with me to the Ring of Honor shows because he was signed to Ring of Honor at the time. And even going out of his way, when they could have flown him out to the Nashville shows and the Georgia shows, he would say no and drive the 13 hours, 14 hours with me to Nashville and back, to Atlanta and back, just for the opportunity to get on the show, right? He believed in me that much. And it paid off. And I just made sure every time that they gave me the chance, I went out there and made a showing. I improved on things that they asked me to improve on. And then once they saw me and Keith together, they were like, "Oh, okay, now we've got something here. Now we've got an idea."
When you were first tagging with Keith, did you feel like your role in wrestling at that point was going to be a tag team wrestler, or were you in that tag team knowing eventually like I want to be a singles wrestler eventually down the line?
We were both we were both singles wrestlers prior to doing that, right? So that was my first real delve into doing tag team stuff, which was so exciting, because if there was ever a place to cut your teeth as a tag team, you would want it to be in Ring of Honor, right? Because historically they've had the best tag team division in all of wrestling, for years, right? So when we were there, we were looking at teams like the Briscoes. We were looking at teams like the Young Bucks, who were there at the time, and just putting ourselves in position to go, okay. And even the way we started, right, was with a feud with War Machine at that time, right? And we blew the doors all over the place in every match that we had. So then you start thinking, damn, what would a feud between PBK and the Briscoes look like? Damn, what would a feud with PBK and the Young Bucks be like? You know what I mean? And man, the potential for what we could have done as a team would have been great. But the goal when we started was for us just to both make careers out of this, and we were still able to do that just in separate companies.
As like a bigger guy getting into wrestling, and also like you yourself being like a bigger guy that's done very well in wrestling, what's like an advice you can give for guys and girls that are also trying to get into the business?
That you have to have the utmost confidence and belief in yourself. Now, I say that knowing that there are going to be days that you have doubts, right? There are going to be days that you feel like the only one that believes in you is you. And sometimes you're just going to have to, and that's the faith that you're going to have. Part of what me and Keith worked so hard to do, especially giving the name that we had, the Pretty Boy Killers, was to take the stereotype image of what people think a professional wrestler is, should be, what a champion looks like, what they have in their mind of what that should be, and completely turn it upside down, right? Because just like in any sport or any combat sport, right? Just because you are the 6'4" guy with a 8-pack and abs and all that doesn't mean you're the best fighter. It doesn't mean you're the best. It just means, like, yeah, you right, but a right hand from me can still put you on your ass. So, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
doesn't mean, right? And so we wanted to go out and prove that it didn't matter what you look like. It didn't matter what your ethnicity was. It didn't matter what your body shape was. If you were the best, that's what mattered. And so we wanted to sort of break and shatter that misnomer and that stereotype that you had to be a certain way to be a star and be a champion.
That's great. And you guys definitely done that. So before we go ahead and wrap this up, I have like 3 little questions. So I'm a college student, and every day on the first day of school, there's always these icebreakers that they always ask just to try to get to know the students. And they're always a little cringy. So I have a couple of them for you based off stuff that honestly probably suits you better. So what's your top 3 DMX songs?
Ooh, damn it. Okay. All right. Top 3 DMX songs. In no particular order, because I can't really rank them because it depends on the mood that I'm in when I hear them.
Okay.
Right? But his song about his grandmother, that one that always, because I've lost so many people, like when that one's on, it sort of reaffirms everything inside me to continue to push, because there are so many people who aren't here to see me realize the dreams and goals that I have. And a lot of people have sacrificed for me to be here. So that kind of just that inspires me. And then, man, there's a song that he did on the Cradle to the Grave soundtrack called Right Wrong. That one is great. And that man, that gives me goosebumps even thinking about it. And of course, Rough Riders Anthem, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That
I was hoping you were going to say that one.
Bro, when you want to get in the mood to like just go out and just wreck everything in front of you, that's the one you got to play. Like, I mean, I remember being in like middle school, right, and getting ready for wrestling matches like for my school, and my dad playing that, like listening to that. Now, as a middle schooler, you should probably not be listening to DMX. I'll just be honest, but it got me where I needed to be mentally to go out and just smash whoever was in front of me, right? And now as an adult, you know, I can take that and channel it the same way. There's so many songs though, bro. There's so many songs. That's tough.
So what are the 3 biggest goals that you have as a professional wrestler?
Ooh, 3 biggest goals that I have as a professional wrestler. Number 1 is to be world champion. Okay. To me, earning that top spot and cementing the fact that you can get to that spot regardless of the barriers that people put in front of you, regardless of what their ideas for you are or what you can be are, regardless of the limitations that they put on you, you can exceed that. And so being the guy, and not just being one of the guys, but being the number 1 guy, the top guy, that's my goal. And to be able to show that you can do that and be different. You know what I mean? A lot of people say that, you know, it's damn near impossible when you're a wrestler who's of ethnic background, but we've seen it happen. So I want to be able to add my name to that list. A lot of people say that if you look a certain way, you know, if you're bigger, you can't do it, or if you're skinny or you're small or you're, you know, there's always these things that sort of detract from what people think makes you marketable or successful. And I want to be able to show that no matter what that is, no matter what you're saying, you know, I can't do, I can more than likely do, you know, and be better, way better than you thought I was going to be. There's that goal. Second goal is to go to Japan. one of my biggest goals was that, and to be able to see so many of the guys that I looked up to growing up. When you talk about like Vader or Stan Hansen or Hogan at the time, they all made their name and sort of established their reputations in Japan. Just the hard hitting style, the uh, the ability to emphasize the sport of it. To me, that was great. So to be able to have that experience and make my mark there would be tremendous. And the third goal is to grow Shane Taylor Promotions as big as it can possibly be and help as many people along the way as I can. Because like I said, when we started, you don't make those changes and you can't have the next generation go through those doors if you don't open them first. So I want to kick as many doors down and open up as many doors as possible to make sure that those after me can be able to walk through them and then open up more doors.
That's great. And so for the final question, what are 3 heavyweight wrestlers that fans should keep their eyes on?
3 heavyweight wrestlers that guys should keep their eyes on. That's easy. Kaun, Moses, O'Shea Edwards.
Well, there you go.
Keep
it simple.
Easy work.
Easy work. Well, guys, that's pretty much all the time we had today. I want to be respectful of your time. Thank you for coming on to the channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, share, and always subscribe. Make sure to follow Shane Taylor on Twitter and Instagram. What's your social media in case they don't know?
At Shane216 Taylor on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/Notorious Shane Taylor. And of course, if anybody's in the merch buying mood, head on over to ROHWrestling.com. Check out the Pro Shop. Plenty of great merch there. And ProWrestlingTees.com/Shane Taylor, all lowercase. Great merchandise there as well.
Well, there you go, guys. Make sure to follow them all over social media, and we'll see you in the next video.
We going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. We going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. When it just like 1, 2, 3. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze.